What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful.com. Here with a name you know because you've seen her on, Impact, NWA, WWE, AEW, ROH, a little bit of everywhere. We got Lady Frost. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. This is a long time coming. And quite frankly, I wanted to interview you before I had to go through a PR department to do it. So I hit you up and I was like, hey, let's please talk. You are the belle of the ball right now, it seems like, in wrestling.
I suppose.
You've
I don't
been
know.
you've been all over the place lately. I mean, like your profile has raised significantly.
Yeah, it's been a good time. The past couple months, 6 months, even year has been a whirlwind. It's definitely been a successful time for me. I'm finally having fun and enjoying what's happening, and I think it's an important time for women in general too. So,
Now, my first question is, was that couch bought for the aesthetic?
no,
Happy
it was
accident?
not. I think it just I've embodied so much of
Sure.
the Lady Frost aesthetic that it's just like, I don't know. That's what
You're a
happens.
chameleon. That couch is actually like you
I'm
just you blend
blending it.
yeah, you just blend in with it. I wondered because I saw that in Denise's interview and I was like, was that a concentrated effort? Did she like plan that out? Because it works really, really well.
Thank you. I have one upstairs as well that I usually use, but there's a whole bunch of laundry on it because we're so busy. But they have the dog portraits hanging on the wall behind, or we have the dog portraits hanging on the wall. But you get Pittsburgh today, so
So of course, Lady Frost, such a fantastic persona to have. I'm sure you've mentioned this a million times, but for our readers that are quite frankly more important, how did you land on that? I remember the first time I saw you obviously was on Raw when you were Jamie Frost. Had you already decided by that point you were Lady Frost and they had you go by Jamie?
absolutely not. I was Ellie Frederick. I was so upset when they named me Jamie Frost. I was like, what the heck? Because it took me so long to kind of figure out who I wanted to be. And Ellie and Fredericks were very important for me. I'll give you the quick rundown. Ellie came from the elephant in the room, which came from my husband and I. That's a little story. I have an elephant tattoo that we call my little Ellie. And Fredericks came from, that's my dad's name, who is, he's not my stepdad, but I call him dad. And I
Yeah.
never took his last name when he adopted me. And I always regretted that. I felt terrible. So I took his first name and I thought, I'm going to make it my last name for my wrestling name. And then when I make it, I can say, hey, dad, look, I have your last name. So I was really upset when WWE is like, hey, you're Jamie Frost. I was like, no.
Had you
but
ever been anything Frost before that?
no, not at
Oh,
all. I think it
wow.
was just the hair. I have no idea where it came from.
It's the creative genius of Vince McMahon. He fixed you like he set you up for success the rest of your life. But I think that's a great like sentimental story about your original name. So I'm sure that he's well aware like that was the plan and all that. And I'm sure that based on the trajectory of your career, everything ended up going all right because I mean you have made the most of that. At what point did you decide to keep Frost?
That night when I saw that I was trending on Twitter, I had just started Twitter. I had no idea what I was doing. And if anyone knows, I wasn't even a wrestler yet. I was simply a manager to my husband. I had not even run any spots. Like I barely knew how to lock up. So things just snowballed from there, you can say. But we were doing like the lady and the gentleman gimmick already. We had already had that kind of as our foundation. And he always called me Lady. So I was like, well, I don't know, let's just make it Lady Frost and I can pick a first name later. And that never happened. And then I almost was thinking like, well, no one's going to know who I am. So I'll just change my name later.
Yeah.
But then it was an easy persona to kind of lean into. Right. And it was like super gimmicky because I wasn't a good wrestler. So it was like, let me throw snowballs. Like, that's just kind of how it started. And then I kind of fell into making it my own and who it meant to me. So it's different now, but I do enjoy it.
I got an interesting reader question. Someone asked if bookings pick up for you in the winter as a result of your name. Do they?
Fantastic. I don't know yet because year one, no one knew me really.
That's a
Year two, we were in a pandemic, so like no one was getting booked. And then I think by this last year, I don't know. What were we doing in December? I think the world was shut down last year.
Still pretty rough. It still wasn't in full swing. That is a good question though. I want to go back to the Raw appearance because I'm fascinated how this happens. Now, I remember you got mic time. You went in there, you did your spot in the ring, got a little offense on Asuka. And I remember before that they had you say, this is like your first professional match. Was it, or had you done a couple before that?
No, like I just said, I wasn't even a trained wrestler. Like I was not a wrestler. I was a manager. I hadn't done anything in the ring before.
Oh,
I had never cut a promo, nothing. So they give me this sheet of paper for the promo. And he's like, it's not going to be live. If you need a few takes, it's fine. I'll be back in a little bit. He comes back in like a minute or two. And he's like, hey, so I wanted to go over a few things. He's like, did you look at that promo? I said, well, yeah, I haven't memorized. He's like, what, already? And I said, yeah. He said, let me hear it. So I gave him the take and he was like,
who is he? Just for clarity.
I'm not sure. He was a runner.
Producer. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
No, just like a runner.
Okay.
And he was like, okay, I'll be right back. I think he was just like, what the hell just happened? So I'm not sure if it was set to be scheduled live or not, but after they heard me do it a few times, I certainly didn't know that it was going to be live. I was still under the impression that I was going to be like in the stands, they said. But yeah, so it was a one-take promo live, and I think that's what really set Twitter on fire. And then the fact that it was my very first match ever, literally. So.
And you got offense in on Asuka. Now, granted, she threw a kick to your head, knocked you out. Big deal. What kind of interaction, if at all, did you have with Asuka? I mean, I know there's a bit of a language barrier. She does speak some English, though. How was that?
She was fantastic. She was so sweet. Obviously, we didn't do too much talking. We went through the agent, Sarah, who was just like, what kick do you want to throw? And Asuka kind of like played around with a few. And I was like, whatever, where it comes, I'll be there, obviously. But she was super sweet. I really, really enjoyed being around her for the small amount of time that I got to. So.
And what kind of feedback did you get from whether it be producers or anyone else about your appearance there?
I felt like it went really well, which is crazy. I got great feedback. I was almost under the impression that they were so pleased, and then it led to more extra work and a tryout. So to say I think things worked out the way that they were supposed to, but I think I was kind of led to believe that like that was the place that I was going to end up.
And how did that tryout go? Tell me about that, because you never know how, like, what kind of setup those are. I've seen like open tryouts where people do them out in front of everybody. I've heard of private tryouts where it's one person. I've heard the ones where they bring them in a group. Explain to me your tryout process.
I was in a group, I believe, of just under 40, and I was like number 32 or something. I don't know how I remember that. I hit in the head and I can't remember anything, like what I ate last night. So there were a lot of us, and I don't know if people would know because Lady Frost is quite the opposite,
Sure.
But I wasn't confident at all. Like I didn't like anything that I did. I was never one to be like, I killed that ever. But I really feel like I did well because it was just basic rolls and working out. And those are things that I can do. Like, you want me to push a sled, agility on the ladder, like, hell yeah, I can crush that stuff. So as far as that went, I feel like it went very well. I had 2 promos because I was so green. I think I had like 2 matches at that point. They didn't give me a tryout match. They gave me a promo to do with a big body guy who could not speak. So he just stood there, and I was like the Leo Rush of the time. I feel like just gassing him up.
Yeah.
So I had 2 very different promos. One was personal. One was a shoot promo that I went with because I feel like if they had scouted me at all, they saw Lady Frost and there was a cadence there and it's cold, calculated. So I gave them a real one. Did the one with Nick was his name. And I felt like it went well. I really do. But I think at the end of the day, I don't know what happened. Someone told me that I was too old when I worked the next set of like extra work. I did another loop after that, after they told me no. So I was like, this is weird. They're calling me back again. And and it was Scott Armstrong that was like, sorry. He's like, not to be disrespectful, you look great, like just as good as like the young ones, but we're not hiring people of your age. And I was like, all right, see you later.
That's pretty wild. I'm not going to ask your age because it's nobody's business, but she's 65. She's 65. You look wonderful for 65.
I had great work done, didn't I?
little do people know that Victor is like 70. Like, it just the regimen that you all keep up. So I mean, when you're told that cannot feel good. That can't feel good to anybody for any reason, even though, quite frankly, it is an absolute bullshit reason. All due respect, I mean, for example, look at Damian Priest. Damian Priest is in his late 30s. He's killing it. He's doing a great job. You're not in your late 30s, and you're killing it, and you're doing a great job. But, I mean, how does that feel for you when you're told something like that when, quite frankly, you know that's not an issue?
And that's the thing. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm doing things that 20-year-olds would be doing anyway. And not that that matters, but I think it's disheartening because it's something that I can't change. I can't work on. I can't get better. It's not, hey, practice in the mirror for your promo, or hey, go take lucha classes, go take this. I literally have no control over that. So
hear me out. Falsify your documents. Just commit fraud is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I need a new social security card.
Yes.
Let's start over. I'm gonna be someone else. Who can I be? Like Lady Sunshine or something.
You can use your original name now.
Yes.
There you go.
You think they remember I'm Ellie Fredericks?
There you see, we got ahead of this. Nobody's gonna watch this. I'll clip this part of the interview out. You're gonna pop up as 21-year-old Ellie Fredericks.
I mean, I think I might have some distinguishing features. Maybe. Maybe.
So that was far from the only place that you popped up at. And I remember that tryout. I think Ashanti the Adonis was there, and like EJ and Duca. I think Tasha Steele. Like, it was a very loaded. Carissa Rivera and Kyle Bloom, if I remember.
Jake Atlas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they all made it. They all went there. Everyone. There's literally like a dozen people from that tryout, and I was like, hey guys, all right, hey, cool.
So having someone like Victor Benjamin help, I would assume, prepare you for tryouts and stuff like that, how helpful has that been? Because obviously you all have killed it doing the tag team work, but that had to be helpful getting your foot in the door as well. He's
been incredible. He's like a freak athlete. He's also not in his 20s, but he is insanely gifted. He was a mixed martial artist, so he's very disciplined. And working out wise, I think he's very much like, no, you're not going to eat this. Yes, you're going to do this workout. And like, for a few weeks, you're like, oh, I hate your guts. But then I'm like, thank you. I love you. Thank you. But he's always been awesome. Like, thank God. I don't know how our marriage would survive otherwise. And he's been incredible with, I did get opportunities a little sooner, and thankfully he's just getting his time now. And I think people are really recognizing, hey, he can also go. He's also very gifted. So it's been awesome to work as a team, but it was hard at first to kind of get separated and then try to work singles stuff or get an opportunity. And you feel like, crap, I just want my person here with me. Like, hey guys, he's really good too.
And I mean, looks like $1 million, looks like such a star. And I mean, you all have teamed together as pretty proper on the independent circuit. So, I mean, before I really jump headfirst into the Impact stuff, when you look at that, and I have heard that they have some interest in you, but you look around, there's Deanna and the former Aiden English there. There's Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona. There's a lot of like mixed tag teams there. Tennille and Caleb with a K are there. Is that something that you look at and you're like, that could be a possibility and that would be really cool?
Absolutely. I think that is high priority. That's always been number one on the list. Like, hey, if we could do this together, that's the ultimate goal for us. Some people are like, I don't want to be with my significant other. Yeah. I'm like, nope, let's go. I think we're better together. It's fun for us. We've been together almost 6 years. And if we haven't killed each other yet in this process, I think making it would be, the cherry on top.
And I mean, they've established a tournament for that too, the homecoming tournament, which I really love as well. So I mean, they've got that, I'm sure, knowing them, that will be a regular thing moving forward. But I had mentioned that you've popped up like a little bit of everywhere. You had done some stuff with Ring of Honor, and we'll go through each of the places that you'd kind of popped up at. But I know that you did a match with Jenny Rose, and I know, of course, there's the MCW and the Future of Honor stuff as well that's there.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? Because I remember that happening right before, I don't want to say right before the pandemic. It was like early 2019 through the end of the year. Were there any talks of you popping up there? Do you feel like you were ready? How did that go?
So I had the match with Jenny Rose here in Pittsburgh, and they invited myself and my husband down to the Ring of Honor dojo in Maryland. Mm-hmm. So we quit our jobs. I had just started a fitness company. My husband was vested in his pension 10 years at his county job. And we sold our house and we moved to Maryland to go to the Ring of Honor dojo. And my husband just went through neck surgery also. He had a broken neck. So we were still kind of, recovering from that. It was a wild time. But yeah, we spent about 6 to 8 months at the Ring of Honor dojo, and he was still recovering, but he was pretty much good to go after like the first month we were there. I think I had maybe 2 dark matches in the 6 or 8 months I was there. I probably definitely wasn't ready, you know what I mean? But that's why you're at a dojo, is to get prepped. But yeah, I don't think it was a good fit really. And we got a call from Chikara, who was under some umbrella contract with WWE. Mm-hmm. So he asked us to move to Philadelphia, and we're like, hey, maybe we do this character change and we have this deal with WWE, and that's back on the table. And we were already driving 2.5 hours each way to go see Mike Quackenbush as a trainer, because he was insanely gifted. Yeah. His wealth of knowledge is insane. And I know that's like a sketchy topic right now. Like, sure. I hope I don't get canceled, but I'm allowed to say he's the best trainer ever. So yeah, we moved to Philly. And then we're like 2 completely different characters. And I don't think a lot of people know that. And then the world shut down while we're in Philly.
So how did that affect things for you? Because obviously as a blossoming independent wrestler, the independence even being open is a very important thing. Now, I know Chikara was kind of quick. I think they had done some stuff pretty early. They did like Action Arcade and stuff, but really like until July or August, there was not much of anything. After that first week of the pandemic, like it shut down heavily. How were things for you? How did you handle that?
So the crazy thing is, I feel like we got a really good end of the deal, because for us, we had something to sink our teeth into with the new characters. And at the time, Chikara was the only one doing filming with no audience. They were the only ones, like they started that. So we were still getting to wrestle. We were still having practices, very, very, very small groups, or it would just be like my husband and I. So we were still getting ring time, which was incredible. And I felt like we grew so much in that time, because we had like personal coaching, almost like private coaching and ring time. And we were trying to just develop new characters. And I think that pushes you, right? Like you have to understand what your body naturally does, how you're going to change it, like all those things. But it was very difficult in the way of not making any money and not having any friends or family or anyone around us. We were just like alone on an island.
I just realized this, and I don't even know if you'll remember this. You and your husband were booked for my show, WrestleMania week.
Yes. No, I do remember that. I didn't know it was like your show, because it was the prime time.
It wasn't my show. My face was on the poster, but I had some issues with that thing. But they would tell me who was getting booked. I would send some recommendations. Almost nobody would get picked up. But then they would send me these matches, and I was like, shit, these are really good matches. Like Pretty Proper's on the show. Faye Jackson was supposed to face Tasha Steelz. There was like Makabe and Eric Royal, Gresham and Yehai. But they were putting my face on the poster, and it was at a brewery. And
Served tall. Sean Ross serve tall.
So the joke is there was this jerk online that would always brag about how tall he was. So I would say I was an inch taller than him as a joke. And the joke had run its course like 4 months before. So I told these people, don't really want to call it that. Don't really want to call it that. And I was supposed to do like a worked brawl for all match there. And I used to wrestle. It was going to be such a trash fire. The pandemic was the best thing that could have happened to me. It was going to be so bad. It was going to be the guy that ran the company who did not wrestle, did not know how. So I was calling up Barry Horowitz like, listen, can you come work me? Because anything but what we're planning. But like I just got those flashbacks of like, oh my God, that card and Pretty Proper was on it.
Yep.
I'm sure WrestleMania week was probably going to be a very exciting time for you. Absolutely not to be on the same card as me, but because I'm sure, like, at that point in Florida, I think it was. Was it in Florida? Yeah, it was in Tampa. So, I mean, there's a lot of indies that run there anyway.
We definitely felt like that was the time for us. We were booked on a lot of shows. We were scheduled to face Laney and GPA. I think Brian Pillman was either tagging with my husband or they were having some sort of match, or there was a tag with him and Miranda Gordy, maybe. I think that was the one. I don't know. We had like high profile matches for the indies, and then all of the momentum just got sucked right from under us. Oh, so man. we had a whole year to start over, and it was a terrible year.
All due respect. I'm glad that one was a booking that none of us made. That was going to be horrible. I will tell the full story one day, and it is as ridiculous as it sounds.
Yeah.
So I always solicit reader questions. So I said, hey guys, what do you want me to ask Lady Frost? And I got some interesting ones. This one is from a Hurricane Shane Helms, who asks if Captain America Winter Soldier is your favorite Marvel movie. Get it? Winter Soldier.
Won't.
Does that ever...
He's not getting any time. Get out of here. We need actual fans here in the chat.
Okay, well, here's one from a Big Swole who says, is her daddy, Mr. Freeze, still in jail tormenting Poison Ivy?
Broke him out.
Okay, so does it ever get old? And you know what I mean. If you post anything, you could post anything, somebody's going to make a pun, which I do realize that's part of the gig. That's a part of the act. Does it ever get old?
It doesn't. I think it's entertaining, right? Like, it's fun. It has its charm. It's so cheesy, but it's great. You know, like, it's snow punny. Like, they're just endless. So I'm entertained. It's not old yet.
Like, I mean, I love our viewers. I love our readers. But now if I put like, hey guys, I have questions for Lady Frost, I have to put serious inquiries only, please. Because otherwise it's just flooded with sarcastic stuff, which I love generally. I love sarcasm, but I'm like, oh my God.
I'm the one that's dropping the sarcastic comments in your herd. I'm like, I'm just going to be a jerk.
Like, I interviewed Britt Baker a few years ago, and I even titled one of my article, Britt Baker has heard all of your Isaac Yankem DDS jokes. You don't need to make them anymore. Like, there's how often do you even hear original ice, freeze, cold, cool, chilly jokes anymore?
Original ones? Probably never.
Yeah.
But a couple of them, here's the thing. I got my Frosted Mini Feet shirt from a comment 6 months ago. It's amazing. I was like, where did you even come up with this? It was brilliant.
I showed my wife that, and like we had a chuckle over that. I do like that. Like, you can name your moves. Like, you can name your entire move set after that. And like,
I know. And sometimes I'm like, I can't name every move. I think it's ridiculous. Like, listen, that's just like a neck breaker. That's just a lariat. Like, I hate when I get it. It's, it's trendy. Yeah. But I'm like, every single move has some sort of, like, the flipping neck breaker, I was calling the icebreaker. Yeah. But I don't even tell people anymore. I'm like, if people remember from a few years ago, cool, they can call it those things. But.
So, I mean, obviously, guys, go check out ProWrestlingTees.com and check out Lady Frost's stuff. So, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things which I don't know if you've dove into head first, but there are lots of plays off of, like, Sub-Zero and Mr. Freeze and Frozen and all that. Like, the the parody shirts almost are like big business. Like, is that something that you plan on getting into or anything like that? To me, it's easy money, but I do understand how some people prefer originality.
I do prefer originality. I don't want to be put in a box with any one character, because people always ask, did you model your character off of this or this? And like, I've never seen Frozen in my life. I don't have kids. I've just never seen it.
Yeah.
Like, I get the song. I used to sing Let It Go. Like, I don't know, because I couldn't wrestle, so I needed spots, right?
Yeah.
Like, everyone knows Frozen, so I leaned into it. But as far as shirts and merchandise, I have like an Icy shirt that looks like the original Icy logo. Couple things, but no, I don't feel like turning myself into a different character. I want to be my own character.
Yeah, I definitely get that. Like, even when people submit ideas to us, and it's like always like something like FWO, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to do our own stuff. Like, so I definitely get that. Well, you've been doing your own thing. You popped up in AEW last year. You did a couple spots on Dark. You faced, I think you faced Diamante and Ivelisse, then you faced Red Velvet. Please tell me how those went and how they came about.
So here's my time to shout out Kevin Matthews, who runs WrestlePro Alaska. RIP your DM. Sorry, Kev. But he has been a very big, I don't want to say cheerleader, but he put in a call to QT at the time, who was booking all the talent. And I went in with a group of the Cap guys, and that was it. I think it was much more competitive back then, if I'm allowed to say that. We had a little more time. I had an entrance, all those things. So it was freaking fantastic. There were no audiences still, so that was rough. But late nights, I was wrestling. I remember when I wrestled Red Velvet, we were the very, very last match, and it was at like 2:45 in the morning.
Oh my
gosh. That's what people don't understand. Like, you're sitting in hair and makeup for like 20 hours or something. Like, you have all day to be like, oh my God, this is my chance. This is my chance. This is my chance. And it's like 2:30 in the morning, and you're like psyching yourself up, like, get it together. But it was a good experience.
Man, so did you get like any feedback after that? Would they talk about bringing you back or anything, or did you get like a no, a yes, anything like that, or did you hit them up?
I didn't get a yes or no. I followed up with QT, and I didn't hear anything. And I'm not one to beg or be persistent. I think I'm just like, well, you know where to find me. If you like what I'm doing, I'm gonna keep working hard. If I make a name for myself, it is what it is. So yeah, that was the end of that. There was no hard yes or no. It was just like.
And you've popped up like all over the place. Like, I love the ladies' night out shows, and you were on that. Like, I think Title Match Wrestling does a lot of really great stuff for women's wrestling. Of course, WrestlePro, GCW. I had mentioned Chikara before this. Like, you're working a lot of prominent indies, like Beyond. Like, so to have interest from all these different prominent indies that really highlight a varying degree. Like, one week you might be wrestling the Sea Stars. Like, one week you're wrestling Thunder Rosa. The next week you're wrestling like any number of people. How has that been for you? Because you jumped into this a few years ago, it seems, and now you're wrestling, it feels like, every week somewhere else in the country.
We're definitely busy. I'm very thankful to be booked as much. I'm tired, but it's been incredible. And right now it's so rewarding because I'm wrestling really great women, and that's the only way to get better, right? I just keep wrestling women that are better than me or have more experience than I do. And that's the only way to grow, I feel like. Yes, there's a time to give back, but I don't think I'm in a position really where I'm going to be the vet helping someone else. Like, yes, you can always help someone, but right now I'm in this like golden spot where I'm getting to wrestle incredible talent, and it's only making me better and want to work harder and level up. And I think, that's the key to getting to the next level is anytime you face someone better than you, you have to level up to the challenge.
And as mentioned, I mean, you've been working like Tennessee, Georgia, Jersey, Missouri, like all over the place. Are you all based out of Pittsburgh again or Pennsylvania?
Yep, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, that sucks. That's
hey.
I'm not a Steelers fan. I'm a Bengals fan.
Whatever.
Man.
The one year you guys want to have a better season than us.
It's a good year. It's a good year.
Enjoy your 1 year.
I'll take it. You know what? I'll take my victories where I can. I absolutely will. One thing I am very jealous of is like the synchronization of all the sports teams, and like you all have one set, black and gold, like across
That's
the
it.
board.
And I'm wearing it. I'm
Yeah.
literally in black and gold.
And those are my high school colors too. So like I had them, and it's like all the sports teams I hated had the colors of my high school because I grew up Reds, Bengals, Kentucky Wildcats, like anything but Pittsburgh. Yeah. I'm very jealous of the synchronization there because we're all over the map out here. And you know what? You've been all over the map, as I mentioned earlier. NWA, you came in, you did some spots with them. I heard from people at NWA that you were offered a deal there. Is that anything you can speak on, and how was your experience there?
I don't know if it's a secret. I was offered a deal there. I very, very much enjoyed NWA. Honestly, the locker room was great. It was the first time I felt like I was on a bigger stage doing something a step above the indies. And I really enjoyed it. Honestly, it just, I think I'm playing the waiting game a little bit, and some other things were in the works, but
okay.
Yeah, they've been good to me.
Let me tell you, Teddy Hart is just waiting with his phone in hand to get your social security number for when you sign with somebody, Lady Frost. Like that's happening.
I want to see my pajama pants in that shot. That's so great.
He's got his cat in one arm, his phone in the other. He's ready to take that info down. Ready to go. You're about to make that money from somebody, and he's about to pick it up. Make sure you leave your WhatsApp notifications on, everybody. So you did the NWA stuff, and then like right after, you're popping up on Impact. And what I loved most is like the social media reaction to you popping up on Impact has been like just phenomenal. Like you're showing up there, and you're wrestling the top woman in the company, Deonna Purrazzo, straight out of the gate. And even though it's a couple minutes, straight out of the gate, next thing you know, you are getting like 10, 11, 12-minute matches. That has to feel like they have a lot of confidence in you based on that. And quite frankly, if Deonna Purrazzo would have went to the back and said, "This girl sucks," you're probably not coming back. Because
that's a good point. That's a good point.
That has to speak highly of the confidence that they have in you. How have you felt about working these Impact dates and having your role increased each time?
I absolutely also loved Impact. It was incredible from the first day I walked in. The fans, I think, are the best part. They really, really have like pulled for me. I've like since the first time they saw me, they went crazy, which is incredible. I think it feels so good to be appreciated for who you are, right? There was no gimmick change. There were talks about roles for the undead brides and stuff. And, I'm willing to do anything to be somewhere where I want to be if I'm going to be appreciated and, everything makes sense. But coming in as Lady Frost, being Lady Frost, and the fans taking to that is really, really special. I think that's important. We do this for the right audience, right? Like, I think I fit into, there are some shows that I probably don't belong on, right? With a proper gimmick. I can't be on certain shows, but the fact that they enjoyed me and Impact kept bringing me back was incredible. The pay-per-view really, I think, was the big determining factor because I did have a lot of time in a singles match. And I just want to say I absolutely adore Rachel Ellering. She is incredible. I feel like we had a great match. But this little turd put me on the spot right in front of Scott. We're sitting there watching, the monitors, and Scott sits down and Rachel's like, "Hey, Scott, hey, when am I going to get a rematch against Lady Frost? You going to sign her? You going to sign Lady Frost so we can have a rematch?" And I was like, "Oh,
how did he react?
No.
Like, how did he react to be put on the spot?
Like, I sunk into my chair just like that. I was like, "No, she didn't." Like, I was like, "Scott, I did not ask her to say that. Like, I swear to you, I did not set that up." But it was awesome that she was kind of willing to go to bat and, say good things. So that was a cool moment.
And you had already told me that you're working on some things, and quite frankly, I had heard they had offered you a deal too. I won't ask you what you're going to do because That's your business right now, but it's got to feel good to have multiple suitors and have people. It has to be good to know that you're wanted, especially after, quite frankly, the bullshit you were fed prior about age and all that.
Absolutely. I think it was really disheartening in the beginning. And I told you, like, we had such a bad time. I was ready to be done. I was ready to just be home in Pittsburgh with our friends and family and our new dogs and our house and do like normal married life. And I was like, is this what people do? They just come home and like watch Netflix and cook each other dinner. And I was like, maybe we could do normal life. But yeah, things obviously went in a different direction, thank goodness. And it does feel good to have people now interested when I thought kind of hope was lost.
Sure. So I'm assuming you have some sort of gymnastics or cheerleading background. Would I be right?
Yeah. 10 years of competitive gymnastics.
Because that Sky Twister, holy crap. Like, and I remember the first time I ever saw it was 1995 on Raw. And like I see it now and I'm like, my gosh, it lands perfectly. Like it looks, you can tell it looks like it hurts somebody, but it doesn't. Like you have such great control of your body. What things came easier to you training pro wrestling than maybe they did other people, or maybe just came naturally to you in general that you looked at and you were like, yeah, that really helped?
So the first time I started training with rolls, I was like, oh yeah, I can roll all day.
Yeah.
Like, but I think even the back bumps, if you've ever been on a trampoline doing those, I have a great body awareness because I know where I'm at upside down. I did that my whole life. I walk on my hands all the time. I still can do like full tumbling passes at my old age of 65. But yeah, and the other thing I always say, the floor is a square and the wrestling ring is a square, and your passes go diagonally or straight down the middle. So it's the same ring awareness that you have. Like you can't be too close to the corner. You can't be in this weird jumbly spot. Same goes for gymnastics. So I think that sense of awareness came naturally. And body control is freaking huge. If you can't control your own body, you can't control someone else's. You can't safely pick up and put down another human if you can't safely control your own body. So
footwork helps so much.
Yes, footwork too.
So obviously Victor had trained MMA for a while. Had you trained that? Had you been involved in that before? Because I mean, quite frankly, when I started to do my training, going through back bumps and the rolls in that helped me a lot too. I'm sure that helped him. I mean, when you're an athlete and stuff like that, a lot of that comes natural, and anybody that looks at him can tell he's a freaking athlete. Anybody that looks at you can tell you're an athlete. But has MMA training helped, or maybe one way or the other? Has wrestling helped your MMA training, or vice versa?
Absolutely. I think both of our bodies were hardened, right? You're hardened to so much impact, which is a good and a bad thing. But for him, he started out, he transitioned right into like an MMA gimmick when he started. And for whatever reason, it didn't read, it didn't get over. He thought he needed more character stuff. I was just walking out as like, you know, a ring girl of sorts. And then it dawned on me when we cut our first promo that I was like, no, we need characters. I can't just be like hyping you up, like fight, punch someone in the face. Like that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So he got out of that and he was doing like more of the power move stuff, but now he's gotten back into just being him, what his body naturally does. And those are takedowns and fancy pins and chokes and transitions. Like my body doesn't naturally do that, right? Like I look at a limb and I'm like, how am I going to twist that up?
Yeah.
You know, like, but he just instinctively knows how to get someone in a pretzel, like in a second. So that definitely helped him. I started training MMA a little bit now. I had a few injuries, so it's difficult to be consistent in any form of combat training. But definitely hitting the heavy bag and doing kickboxing classes, stuff like that has helped me tremendously.
Oh, your kicks are so smooth. When I see some people throw kicks, the first thing I look at, do they pivot? Do they use their hips? Do they turn into it? Any of those things? Because when you see leg breaks in MMA, usually it's because somebody doesn't turn their hips into it. They don't pivot or anything like that.
Right.
And it translates to pro wrestling so well when people know how to kick. It seems like that came really naturally to you because it seems like second nature. Like I would think that you've been training kickboxing like most of your life. Was that something that you took really well to as well?
Yes. So I did a little bit of dance as well. And I think form is everything in gymnastics and dance. You're either coordinated or you're not.
Yeah.
And you can work on being coordinated for a long time. But that came natural to me. If someone gives me a technique, I think I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that. And maybe it takes 1 or 2 times, but I was very fortunate in life to kind of pick things up quickly. And that was the same with wrestling. It was just like, as soon as things were given to me, I could comprehend. And I think managing helped because you're ringside. And I always tell people it was my favorite place to be because I was right in between the action of the ring and the emotion of the fans. So you're sandwiched in all of this emotion. And that's what I loved. And in the beginning, I didn't know if my husband was hurt or not. I was like, oh my God, that looked terrible. Like I was, like I just didn't know. I had no idea. I was like, are you okay? Are you okay? Like ringside freaking out. So the art isn't lost on me of, this is seriously damaging, right? Like it really is. And the emotion is the biggest part. Like I want to be a physical specimen and freak, and people would be like, oh, I want to do that crazy spot that Lady Frost did like 10 years from now or whatever. But I also want to tell a story. It's very important. The emotion is very, very important. That's how I fell in love with it. And the little girls coming up with their big beady eyes. Can I have an autograph? And I'm like, yeah. So I went off on a tangent. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. And I love there's always these interesting parallels MMA and pro wrestling because in pro wrestling, if you don't sell, people go, that isn't realistic. But if you sell in MMA, that's it. You're done. Somebody's going after whatever you're selling, whatever you don't want them to know you're hurt.
I think that was his biggest challenge in the beginning. They were like, freaking sell. And he's like, sorry, I've been trained my whole life to not sell anything and to just power through. So it's definitely a unique transition there.
And it definitely seems like people that train shoot styles, whether it's catch wrestling, kickboxing, MMA, they have an enhanced ring psychology in that regard because they're always in the mode of finishing the fight, pinning the opponent, submitting the opponent. So I think that's helped out an awful lot. What do you want to get better at? What do you think is something that you want to improve personally? Is there anything that's a goal? Or after 65 years of tape study, are you pretty much there?
I am not there. I will never be there. Oh my goodness. I wish I had, 30 years to perfect this craft. And even then you're never perfecting it. Yeah. Definitely want to get better at grappling. Like it's not second nature to me. I can't just wrap someone up quickly. The high flying offense, I think I have to win matches to do all of the cool moves from the top. So we'll get there. Some of those will be making their appearance, hopefully. But definitely like the ground game is something that I have to get better at to match the high flying game.
So is that a concentrated effort as well? Because I mean, obviously right now in the spot that you're in with a lot of these companies, you're coming in, you're sort of paying your dues, so to speak. So I would imagine you're leaving some stuff there. You're like, this might look cool on TV, but it'd look a lot cooler if I was getting a 3 count after I did it.
Correct. Like, you can't pull out a Phoenix splash if someone's going to kick out of it. All right. A spiral tap is in there. There are things that are in the back pocket that have not made their way out to play yet. So, but that's what television is for. Like, I'm not going to the indies to do all this crazy stuff either. If I'm already getting eyes, like I'm trying to be safe and not take crazy bumps or just try to go viral. I really want to take pride in my work and be safe about it and be a safe opponent for everyone else as well. So, but yeah, there's definitely more to come. So,
do you ever go to trampoline parks?
Absolutely. What do you like? Those are, yeah, the best.
That's the only place I've tried to do a Phoenix splash at. And I did it, but it was on a trampoline.
Really? Did you go into the foam pit?
Oh yeah. Got to be into the foam pit. And now they got the ones that are up high, so I can be like how high a normal thing was. I've never tried one in a ring before because I don't want to break my neck. Has there been a spot that you've tried like in training and you absolutely ate shit on? Whether it be because of you or because of a ring, like there's a video of Chris Bay where he's trying something and the top rope just snaps.
No, I've not completely like eaten doo-doo. There's one, it's like a resorte over the top rope. I don't know why that's weird for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't do it. Like I'm like, no, my body doesn't do that. And I probably can if I tried it some more.
Yeah.
But no, I think everything as far as like acrobatic wise that I've tried, I know where my bounds are. Like a shooting star press is not for me. Like my body goes backwards. Yep. I did diving for a while and I could not do reverses. It was a no. So it was a no for my body.
I try that at the trampoline park too. And I'm like, oh, surely I can do it. But then I get up and my neck's tucked and it won't go like this. Like I don't want to do this at all. And I just look ridiculous. It just ain't for, like Triple H said that he doesn't take the spot where you go in between the second and the third rope into the rail or into the ring post. He said he doesn't like to do that. There are just certain spots, certain people. I know a bunch of wrestlers that are like, I'm not taking a back body drop just because it's not worth it. I don't like doing it. Like it's there's different things for different people. But I guess you never know. Lady.
I used to do the perfect plex and do the perfect bridge, and my neck now is like, no thanks. I'm like, why bridge if I don't have to? Like I can still get a suplex off and then bridge afterward. But if I don't have to come down directly on my neck, even if it is slightly, like if it's on their body, it's better. But like, no, I just don't want to.
Lady Frost, you've been so generous with your time. Please tell the people where they can find you, where they can follow you, where they can check your stuff out, all that good stuff.
I'm Real Lady Frost across the board, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. If you look in my bios, I have all my links, and it'll take you everywhere you want to go.
Is this the Real Lady Frost, though? Because for a while, it didn't seem like it.
Will she please stand up? I don't know. This could be Ellie Fredericks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you didn't have those accounts for a solid month or so.
Like two months. It was a nightmare. They were taunting me. I'm like, listen, you are not Lady Frost. Stop asking my fans to send you money. Like,
unreal. Well, you can find her at Real Lady Frost. Lady Frost, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Until next time, guys, we're out.